In level 4, we are factoring with multiple variables. We take the same steps we did before. We always want to check for a GCF first. So looking at this first example, there's no GCF for 3, 5, and 2. So I can't factor out a number. And I look at my variables too to see if there's a GCF. And I can't, they don't all have X and they don't all have Y, so I can't take out a variable either. So since there's no GCF, I go to my two sets of parentheses. And I need my first two terms to multiply to 3x squared. My only options are 3x and x. And then I need my last two to multiply to negative 2y squared. So I'm going to need negative 2y times y, or I could have positive 2y times negative y. But it's got to be 2y and y, and then one's going to be positive, one's negative. So I play around with it until I can find the right spot. I'm going to try the 2y here and the y here. And then I check and see if that works. Y times x is xy, and I multiply my outside terms. 3x times 2y is 6xy. And if I add these two together, I could have them equal negative 5xy if one of them is negative. And which one do I want to be negative? I want the bigger one to be negative. Negative 6xy plus positive 1xy would give me negative 5xy. So I need to put the negative sign right here and then a positive sign over here. And there we go. For the next one, again, check for a GCF. This time I can factor out a 2, and I can also factor out an x and a y. So I can take out 2xy. And then I do a big set of parentheses. 2xy times what would be 2x to the third y? That would be x squared. I need two more x's. And that's it, I don't need a y. And then 2xy times what would be negative 18xy. I need a minus, and then a 9. And I don't need any variables because I already have x and y. So now I'm ready to see if this can be factored more. And since x squared and minus 9 are perfect squares, this is a difference of squares, so it can be factored more. So I keep the 2xy, and then I do two sets of parentheses. And x squared minus 9, with the difference of squares, remember you do the square root of both terms. X times x gives me x squared, and 3 times 3 gives me 9. One has a plus, one has a minus. There's my answer.